Hello, Star Wars family. I am your host, Tony Wan Kenobi, and I welcome you back to May the Boys Be With You, a Star Wars show. Today, I am joined by the biggest Star Wars fan I know. The Force is strong with this one, a user of both the light and the dark, a boy who was just a Padawan full of confusion, who became a mighty Sith full of rage. None other than my co-host, Brant2D2. How are we doing, Brant? Let's let him load in.
We're doing real good today. Doing great. I got my two sons. We got the boys. And as you know, may the boys be with you. It's great to be here on this closing week of our Kenobi series. And man, what a series it was.
Before we speak, we need to talk about this. We gave you 48 hours. We gave you about maybe 60 hours at this point. There is no yelling at us for spoiling anything. We gave you enough time till we post stuff. So, if you didn't watch it at this point, you're just not a true fan.
Very much. So spoilers, we're going to go into spoilers and we're going to give you 10 seconds.
R2 hit it.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, 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 boop, boop.
Alrighty. So that was crazy. I mean, now that we're past the whole spoiler part of this, and I don't want anyone on the internet yelling at me.
No comments.
No comments. No comment. Please comment. Subscribe. Comment. Subscribe. Follow
About
us.
spoilers is what.
Follow us on YouTube, but we're not going to spoil anything for you. Okay, to the show. Just absolutely crazy. Brant, take it away. Initial reactions.
Initial reactions. Wow. That is what we were looking for from the show. We wanted this iconic battle between Vader and Kenobi. We wanted between Master and Padawan, or as Vader thought, Master versus Master. But at this point, we learned that wasn't the case, right? Obi Wan is still the Master, still delicious as ever. And I most likely will have to change my top 5 Jedi ranking after seeing this cultivation. Like
it was a legacy game.
Yes, the legacy episode.
Obi-Wan heard Brant. He heard Brant's rankings and said, "You know what? I'm having a big night tonight.
I'm goading it out. I'm going to become the one true Jedi." He really showed his protector side of him, right? Like that's how his battle style is protector. Like that is how he fights with the lightsaber. He works to make sure he helps others, brings them in, and oh wow. We had that switch in the middle with the idea of the friction within, hearing Darth Vader, Anakin back and forth, and then remembering why I'm still doing this, right? He remembered like Luke and Leia, and then he's like, you know what? Get these rocks off me. All right. And then boom, we got some good old Pandora action, flying around, throwing some boulders. Wow. Who would have known? I would have been so impressed by some rock throwing. Just imagine with this new
good old rock fight.
Good old rock fight, and how well now Obi Wan Kenobi could skip rocks, right? He'd probably be the ultimate. He probably could get like 60 skipping rocks with his Force usage.
Probably learn how to do that in the desert, not even on water. In the
desert.
Yeah,
he's about to like rock skip and then become this. That's why
Tatooine has no water, right?
I mean, it has no like oceans or anything like that. That's what
besides the sweat coming off of heads.
Has that or hydration, like that's they're moisture farmers. That's what Owen and Beru do for their job, is they get water from the moisture.
And everyone knows, like, just the Star Wars universe revolves around Tatooine.
Oh yeah, I mean, as you see, two suns right here.
Takeaways. I don't even know where to begin. It was just crazy. So. Obviously, I wish the season started faster. It was storytelling and all that. Should I get my complaints out of the way first, and then we can just be super excited? All right.
I think that's great.
So me and probably 10 million others who watched the show this week were loving Vader versus Obi-Wan, fighting, the lines that were being thrown back and forth, the talking that they were, going back and forth with. And then, mid-epic fight, let's cut to Reva chasing a 10-year-old. It's like, come on. You can't do that. You can't do it. Cannot do it. But they did it. Disney did it. And that was frustrating because I'm so locked into this fight, and then you want me to be excited about Reva chasing a 10-year-old around a desert? No, I'm not going to be excited about that. It just goes back to me saying Reva was not a necessary character all along because she just took away from the Kenobi show. It's not the Reva show, it's the Kenobi show. But I'm not going to be a stubborn man and talk about how I'm so frustrated they didn't focus more on Kenobi. And I'm going to look at the bright side. So that's my one complaint. Otherwise, I got nothing. Brant, complaints?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I would say we might get a Reva show, right? If it did set up for that. So we might have Obi Wan Reva. Just kidding. But for me,
she's a Jedi
now. Not really. But
not knighted yet.
Not knighted yet. Not goated like Zaddy Obi Wan we got here. But something that I thought was a little weird was there was a lot of points in this show that felt like they were just like filling plot, right? And for me, like the Scar plot armor, or like solidifying things that happened in A New Hope that people, maybe fandom people, like created stories for to like explain. Really, this was them saying like, you know what? We're just going to make a show to explain all the intricacies that we couldn't really do in the movies, because when George Lucas originally made these, right, that was it. It was just supposed to be A New Hope. And now it's cultivated to this huge multi-film franchise with all this world galaxy, right? It was just Star Wars, not Star Wars Episode 4. And so with that, there were the small things where he's like, well, Darth Vader killed your father. And so there was that really, don't get me wrong, really cool scene in this episode that kind of like, you didn't kill. And I'll talk a little more about why that was so cool later to me. You didn't kill Anakin. I did. That. The scar from Obi Wan cutting Darth Vader.
Was that a scar?
Yeah. So if you go look at episode 6, when he takes off his helmet, he has a huge gash. And when he originally was in Mustafar, he didn't have it. So if you go look at end of episode 3, he didn't have that thing. And so it was just added kind of more because it was the same side, same gash that was there. And then like Leia being like, when Luke in episode 4 was, oh, Ben Kenobi sent me. And Leia's like, oh yeah, Ben Kenobi. But she knew him as Obi-Wan. But then, no, he knew us both because of this. So that would be my only one. And then the Reva, I did feel very back and forth. I like watched the fight prior to this just to like see it. And I like realized how small the Reva stuff was. I enjoyed getting to see Owen and Beru in a different light though, because you better know that puts so much more context to A New Hope when we see their like bodies burning. Like they put up a fight there. Like they took out a couple of stormtroopers, right? Yeah. It wasn't just like them dying. But yeah, that's kind of, I would say, they were great little small Easter eggs, but it did kind of feel like
fan filmy.
They felt fan filmy for
that's Disney.
Maybe that, yeah.
So let's move past the sad parts because there was just so many beautiful things that occurred during this Obi-Wan finale and truly throughout the season. I think I'm just going to start with my absolute favorite part, and it's just something that really just absolutely, hit the fails when it happened, but at the same time, it was just amazing. So there's obviously a few things. I'll start here. I'll go in order of timeline. So first, it happened last night. Obi-Wan saying, "Then my friend is truly gone," as Vader pretty much said, "Anakin's dead. I killed him. This is what whatever." Obi-Wan said, "My friend is truly gone." And then Twilight of the Apprentice, Ahsoka fights Vader on top of the Sith temple, and he's like, "Anakin, I know you're still there," and he's like, "Anakin is gone." And then he's basically saying that he's not going to leave her this time. And then Vader says, "Then you will die," which is also what he said to Kenobi last night or this week in the show. And Ahsoka then says, "Then my master is gone." And then skip years forward to A New Hope. Luke, sorry, not A New Hope. Return. Much later, sorry.
Episode 6.
episode 6. Thank you. Return of the Jedi. Luke says to Vader, "Then my father is gone." It's just the call back and the call forward. Man, that's just amazing. It's amazing work right there. I know it's pretty simple, but it's just beautiful. What did you think of that, Brant?
Gorgeous. That whole scene was so heart-wrenching, but also just like beautifully cinematically captured, because in those scenes that you described, I'm not sure if you noticed, it was all like one was one half. So Obi-Wan cut off the right, and then Ahsoka cut off the left, and then the whole helmet was removed with
That's how
Luke,
he became back to being a Jedi.
right? He being back. So it's like each part of his soul, Anakin's soul, was revealed shortly in these moments for people that were such a genuine aspect of his Jedi life. And we were able to see this kind of culmination of him. And then in there with the whole, I do think that Anakin said one of those lines. In my opinion, he said, "You like the one when his face was kind of blue, was saying you didn't kill Obi-Wan. I mean, you didn't kill Anakin." And then it flipped to "I did." So I felt like it was almost Anakin trying to console Obi-Wan a little bit.
For sure.
Like,
he was conflicted.
Like, he was like, "You master your," like he didn't. And I feel that's what allowed Obi-Wan to truly see, okay, I need to move forward. I got to go see my master, hook it up, maybe smoke some doobie with Qui-Gon Jinn. Just kidding. Hey, we don't know what we're going to do in Tatooine, right?
He's a Jedi. Come on, man. So here's the thing. Obi-Wan and Anakin obviously fought in Mustafar at the end of Revenge of the Sith. And he said to him, Anakin said, "Have you come to kill me?" And Obi-Wan said, "I'll do what I must."
And he hasn't killed him either time.
And then skip forward to last night on Planet to be named later, which I can't believe they didn't give the planet name. Vader says, "Have you come to kill me, Obi-Wan?" And Obi-Wan says, "I'll do what I must." Exactly like he said 10 years ago on Mustafar as he tried killing Vader.
And he didn't do it either time.
He didn't kill him either time, to be fair.
Yeah. So all of his murders are on Obi-Wan. I will say that. All of Vader's murders are on Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but then he's changing the fate of the universe. Obi-Wan's a big fate guy. You can't let him.
I know he's the Force. Yeah, he lets the Force take role, and yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So here's my thing. My biggest thing is Obi-Wan pitied Vader. I mean, it got to the point where, like, okay, so they're fighting. Obi-Wan's holding his own somehow after he got his ass kicked last time, which I'm not surprised. We know Obi-Wan can hang with Anakin / Vader because Obi-Wan's super powerful in his own right. But we get to the fight, they're tossing rocks. They're doing cool stuff. There's a saber battle going on. And then all of a sudden, Vader buries him in rocks as he has the high ground. In the moment, I kind of wanted him to say, "Now I've got the high ground."
I did too, but I'm kind of glad he did it.
At the same time, would have been a little bit corny, so I'm happy they didn't do it. But as this is happening, obviously, as you said, the rocks are being thrown. He's buried, and he's like hearing Vader saying, like, "I am what you made me," and like, "I hate you," at the end of Revenge of the Sith. And then he's like, kind of like it seems like he's like buried.
"You're my brother, Anakin.
You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you." And then he seems like he's done. He's not gonna be able to get out of there. And then he remembers the kids and remembers that is the last hope. And right now, Obi-Wan truly is the last hope because the fate of the universe relies on Obi-Wan, because if he doesn't do this, Luke and Leia are never going to fulfill their destiny. So he has to power through. And in my opinion, this is the first time in Obi-Wan's life, maybe besides the Maul fight after Qui-Gon dies, that Obi-Wan fought with emotions. As a Jedi, you do not fight with emotions because that means you're channeling the darkness. And in my opinion, I think Obi-Wan channeled his emotions and said, "You know what? I'm just going God mode." And he did it.
Well, you don't fight with anger or fear. You fight with hope.
I suppose, but I also feel like he was fighting. I feel like he kind of was fighting with anger almost.
I don't know.
Maybe not. maybe it's a controversial take, but we saw an Obi Wan that we've never seen before. The dude held up like 900 rocks, started heaving them at him, heaving, and then all of a sudden he's just bashing away at him and gets to the point where he cuts his face mask. And that's why I said I feel like he pitied him, because Obi-Wan has now kicked Vader-Anakin's ass twice. Anakin's never kicked Obi-Wan's ass.
I would argue that this is the first time that we actually saw true Jedi, no emotion, like external emotion, Obi-Wan. Because what I mean by that is throughout all of Clone Wars, throughout all these things, right? As soon as on episode 1, he was introduced to Anakin, Qui-Gon died, and then he had to take over. There was this conflict of needing to prove himself to be able to teach the chosen one to all these things. You're the chosen one, Anakin. Like I was told he had always had conflict. And you saw the comp back. He's like, this is not what the Jedi is. And so, but then he questioned himself, like, well, maybe Anakin's doing it right. It is a little like all these back and forth. He had Padme. Maybe he wouldn't be the Satine. And I feel at that point, we saw all that past stuff of him thinking with Anakin at the time, there was a true release of, and he's like, okay, what's the future? These two kids, Jedi are meant to protect the innocent. Like that are what Jedi are. What they're supposed to be, without pride, they're supposed to be humble at all times. And I think that's what goaded him, because then he was able to call upon the full force. The force came in with nothing, no hindrances blocking him. His mind was clear, and he was just like, you know what? Whatever happens, but this is how it is. And that's why at the end he was able to talk to Qui-Gon, because Qui-Gon was very similar. He was balanced. He knew the Force. Qui-Gon was focused on the Force. And I think at that point, when he was holding up the rocks, he was struggling, right? He realized it's not about power. It's not about wisdom. It's about balance and for being a protector. So for me, I can see where you're coming from, but that's where I'm kind of seeing of him being goated at that point. And delicious, man.
And that's why we talk, folks, because, both sides need to be said, and we just balanced it out there. So,
like a true Jedi.
And you know what? Here's another takeaway I have. In Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan says, only a Sith deals in absolutes. And as that's happening, Obi-Wan says in the ship, as he's ready to go fight Vader, I have to go there, and one of us must die. Sounds like absolutes to me, but hey, gonna ignore it.
Because he was still in conflict at that time, right?
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean,
like,
it was an amazing scene. I thought the backdrop was amazing with the crescent moon and all that. It was beautiful. And the scene where he gashed his mask and they were talking, and
the voice, both the voice of Vader and Anakin at the same, it was like,
that was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful to hear Anakin's voice. Terrifying, but beautiful. And the lights of the swords, like kind of reflecting on like who's the conflict in him. Because at first you can see the blue, then the red as it went. Like it was beautiful cinematography, and it was just an awesome scene to watch. Now, I mean, I'm not going to put it up there with a saber battle that equals their crazy battle on Mustafar, because it wasn't that epic. I mean, it was epic, but I'm not putting it on the Mustafar level.
Oh, yeah, there was different, right? It's almost the progression to their battle on the Death Star, right?
Yeah.
Where that one was just a small flicks of lightsaber. So it was a natural progression. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I loved it. My favorite part that hasn't really been talked about much from what I've been reading is, as Obi-Wan's walking away, he says, I think he says like, goodbye, Darth.
Yeah. Goodbye, Darth.
Which is how
so long, Darth.
Which is how Obi-Wan addresses him for the first time in A New Hope, when he says, you're just a master of evil, Darth. Which is like weird to me how Alec Guinness calls him Darth when it's like his boy Obi-Wan when I watch it back, but now it makes sense. which is a great filler right there to be like, yep. So it's not just now he's calling him Darth. He now sees him as Darth because he truly believes Anakin is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And in that fight in A New Hope, Vader says to Obi Wan, he says to him, he says to Luke later on in the original trilogy, don't try to, don't try it. Obi Wan once tried to turn me to pull me back to the light, and he failed pretty much. I'm paraphrasing, but he tried to tell Luke like, hey, Obi Wan tried this, it didn't work. Don't even try it. Obviously, Luke succeeded, but now we know when Obi-Wan tried it. Obi-Wan tried it when he tried to get through to Vader. He really did.
Yeah, and we really get to see that kind of obsession with Kenobi still. But then I would say Sidious coming back, and we just like, he's like, you know what? You could tell the evil mastermind at play. I'm going to call that weakness, and you're going to be weak if you obsess on your past. And then it's like, and then wipes it. He's like, you know what? I'm serving you, master. And then the Imperial March, like, we go back. Oh,
yeah, and like that, it's crazy because it's like it's almost like Vader's in a jail cell.
Oh yeah,
like I feel like Vader low-key fares Sidious a little bit because he's such a master of the dark that he almost doesn't want to like upset him at all, and that's so. When Sidious was like, well, your obsession makes you weak. I feel like it does, though. He's right.
mm-hmm.
I feel like when Vader was fighting Obi-Wan, he doesn't have his full powers because
his emotions.
It's Anakin. It's Anakin fighting Obi-Wan. It's not Vader fighting Obi-Wan. And I'm gonna be honest, Anakin's was an amazing saber fighter, but Vader's stronger in the Force than Anakin was. So Vader being like this ever powerful Force wielder is amazing, but when he fights Obi-Wan, there's too many emotions and it clouds him, and he's not able to fight Obi-Wan like he should be able to, which gives Obi-Wan a huge advantage.
Yeah, sets up him just as this like dual dichotomy of like who he is, where he's going, and when we kind of see it with the Grand Inquisitor. And let me just say, the Grand Inquisitor now, I don't know what happened between episode 1 and then 5 and 6, but he looks cool.
More like mascara.
He look. Oh yeah, just a little more eye makeup. But he like his eyes are so pronounced, and like I know I made comments about how I didn't really feel like he was villainous. He kind of looked.
Bro,
goofy.
That's what he looks like. That's what he looks like now. Like he's supposed to look like
but now that's how I know what he looks now. Like that's. I need to go watch Rebels. GI. I got to go watch Rebels and all that. I'm like, oh wow, so good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But yeah, when on that scene was like, we have to go find these insurgents. Just imagine if Vader would have listened. Leia would have been dead.
Maybe, yeah. But obviously Vader has an obsession, and that's Obi-Wan. And we
have that in common. Me and Vader got that in common. I need like an Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
I need like an Obi-Wan t-shirt. Just like maybe we should make merch. Maybe make merch that's just Obi-Wan's face and it's like Zaddy.
Or Obi-Wan's head photoshopped onto our heads and it says, "May the boys be with you."
Oh.
It's just 2 Obi-Wan heads in our bodies.
in our bodies.
So that's amazing.
Obi-Wan could be my father. That's all I'm saying.
Obi-Wan, I am your father. Just kidding. So I mean, amazing scenes there, obviously. It was some good stuff. I have a take. This is a big take. So I'm just going to lay it all out there.
All right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is the Michael Jordan of saber battles. He is the GOAT of lightsaber battles. He takes down Darth Maul fairly, not easily, but he does it twice. Well, spoilers. Well, whatever. Okay, I'll pass on that. Obi-Wan is the GOAT of it. He takes down Maul, cuts him in half, doesn't kill him, but he cuts him in half. Going timeline-wise, he then goes and kills General Grievous, if I'm correct. Amazing.
With a blaster.
Yeah, amazing fight there. That was ridiculous. how does Obi-Wan dodge all the sabers from Grievous? And then he takes down Anakin in the biggest duel of his life. In Rebels, like several times, he goes and fights Maul, beats him again. He fights
Ventress a few times.
Yeah, Ventress, Maul's brother, and Maul at the same time.
Savage,
Savage. Yep, and takes them both down. Now Vader again, and obviously Maul in the future again. Like, Obi-Wan does not lose saber battles. He is the GOAT of it. He just put a saber in his hand. He's the best saber fighter there is. Obi-Wan is the GOAT of it. He is. I don't know how you can debate that.
I would say he's a for sure win if he does his stance to begin. That's when we know he'll win. If he's got his little when
he faces it forward,
right, he'll win. But if he doesn't, he might not. But
if you look back, he does that. He does that very often. It's his fighting style. I believe it's Jedi Arts like style number 3.
Yep, Protector.
Yeah. Yep. And then, but Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan, in A New Hope, his thing is to hold the saber forward and point it forward. Obi-Wan did both of them. It was like them showing the transition of Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness Obi-Wan, which is amazing. I mean, he goes gray in like 2 years, which is crazy. But it is them showing the transition of Obi-Wan here, and that is just so incredible. I mean, yeah. Is there any other takeaways you have from the fight, Brant? I mean, it was amazing fighting.
Well, it just shows, in my opinion, a weakness. Like, I didn't even think about how if you slice off Vader's breathing stuff, so good luck to him. But no, I agree with that take. I think Obi-Wan has a lot of just qualities that it's also plot armor, right? But we get to see him change what he needs to do and be flexible and adaptable based upon whom he's fighting, where he's fighting, and but never always have patience and always look for trying to find other ways out. So it's not just lightsaber battle, but it's battle surroundings, understanding just the battle itself. He's the perfect tactician as well. I want to do a quick little. I really appreciated how we had more Beru and Owen in this things. I did because I felt it was kind of weird where we just end of episode 3 drop off. Oh, here's Luke, and then they die. Right, this old random step brother, right? Not even a blood relation. So getting to actually see Luke growing up in that space and get to see the love that Beru has and the care that Owen has towards Luke, just makes that murder of them in A New Hope so much more impactful.
Yeah,
right. When it happened, you're oh, that's kind of gross. They burned that. That's not good.
Even though Owen pisses me off in the show because he's like, Obi-Wan, don't go near Luke. And I'm like, oh, come on.
I mean, you have to think about that, though.
I know.
Anakin was this he murdered children, right? He murdered younglings. So
just look past it.
No, well, look past it.
It's Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Reva looked past it. So actually she did. She did. Return of the Jedi. Right. She became a Jedi again. That's the theme of episode 6.
Maybe it'll happen in the Reva show.
She'll kill younglings.
Oh, she won't. But
no, it's gonna be Reva and Hondo. That's the show. That's the take.
Love Hondo.
I love Hondo.
We
could have a whole episode on Hondo. But
we'll do the Legend of Hondo.
Legend of Hondo episode.
That's gonna be a big one. My next thing. Are we getting season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
It is. They create it as a series. They're open to it, but they don't know. I think it's more of if folks want it and they see the interest for it. Personally, I think it's good where it's left off. We've got a good amount. I would rather see a Vader show than another Obi-Wan show, because I think yes, people might say, well, the whole movies are about Vader, right? But really, we didn't get that much screen time with Vader. Um, I just love
I mean,
that
Vader's a
character.
scarce resource, and that's what makes him so great because you can't have too
It's
much
like
Vader.
Boba Fett, yeah,
Because Vader's so cool, where it's like if you just get Vader all the time, it'll lose lust.
yeah,
And also, we just don't need another Vader Obi-Wan fight. Like that's enough.
yeah. We're good.
Obi-Wan bested him just like he was supposed to in which does not break canon, just like A New Hope says. So you cannot have them fight again. We've had enough of it. However, I'm not against a second season, and the reason I say that is because if there's going to be a second season, it's not going to be centered around Vader this time. I actually think it'll be like Obi-Wan training his Force Ghost with Qui-Gon. We'll see a lot more of that and like the evolution there. And then we'll maybe see, Inquisitors trying to hunt Kenobi, but it's not necessarily going to be any Vader stuff because I think the Vader Kenobi story has been told. It's been told and it's good. We love it. It's just you can't go too far with it because at some point it's like Vader says to Obi-Wan, like, oh, it's been a long time. It's been a long time, old man Kenobi. And it's not like they fought. You can't have them fight once a week. You can't do it. It's got to be done with. And I mean, I love their story. It is Star Wars. Anakin and Obi-Wan to me is what Star Wars is. I know to some others, especially the OT people, the original trilogy people, they love Luke more than Obi-Wan. I'm just an Obi-Wan guy, and
Yeah, see, that's why I'm excited about Ahsoka show coming out. Because that's almost that character like bridges gaps, like Ahsoka.
Are we gonna get any? Do you think we'll get any Luke in the Ahsoka show?
Yeah. So there, Filoni mentioned maybe not in the Ahsoka show, but eventually maybe season 2 or something, because Filoni actually has stated in interviews that he has written or he has idealized how Luke and Ahsoka met. So he actually has it created and plotted out because the first time we see them together in Mandalorian at Luke's temple wasn't the first time they met. Like that was like pretty long after their relationship. So we will see it eventually, I think.
Well, when does the Ahsoka show take place?
So the Ahsoka show is pretty much season 5 of Rebels.
Okay, exciting. So
like in a way, it's post season 4 of Rebels area.
Okay, gotcha. I would say my biggest takeaway is that I'm obviously excited for that show. I would be okay with the season 2. I just don't want them to stick on the same story.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really good. I have a take for you for Star Wars fans also, and I hope you all agree with me. Make this one go viral. Let's make it go viral enough where Dave Filoni is going to see it and want to do it. Let's make movies 7, 8, 9 not canon. Let's get rid of them. Just flush them down the toilet. Let's build a trilogy around Grogu. Let's build a trilogy like this same trilogy: Grogu, Luke, Ahsoka, Ezra Bridger. Throw in Reva if you really need to, Disney. Throw in whatever you need. Give us this because that will fulfill what we want to see. It's just, I mean, these are some Ahsoka bridges a gap. Ezra Bridger bridges a gap.
That's why it's called Bridger.
Yeah, that's why he's Bridger. Like there's such good material there, and I'm guessing that's what Star Wars was built around, and maybe Quinlan Vos also.
And Mandalorian. That's why Mandalorian was so loved.
You could have such
it was
a cool
so
crew.
new. It was such a fresh take on the universe, the understanding of it. I agree. I'm hoping that little Force owl time zone area in Rebels branched into a new time frame.
For sure. Hey, well, we're going a little long here. I know this is meant to be more of a reaction episode. Final takeaways, Brant. I mean, for me, the last one I have is the hello there to Luke was so cool. Like that's the first time they met, really, and him saying hello there was just so perfect.
Yep, I would say that, and just the bringing Liam Neeson back. I think that was the perfect way. Him just saying like, he's like, oh, Qui-Gon, there you are. And Qui-Gon just like, I've always been here. You just weren't.
I've been here the whole time, bro.
Yeah, you just weren't ready to listen. And I think that's such a good way to end it because it shows that even though Kenobi's a master or was perceived as, he always has more to learn. And that's it. We always have more to learn. And so does Vader. So here we go.
For sure.
May the boys be with you. And then that's actually what Qui-Gon and Obi Wan are doing. They're boring it out.
For sure. I mean, it was a good show. It was I don't know if it was a necessary show, but it's something that we enjoyed. It was something that was a nice storytelling and, you know, gave us some answers on things that we were wondering. So I enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed it. The boys enjoyed it. Overall, it was good. I'm excited we could chat about it. Next week, we will be back to talk a little Andor. They released a trailer for it. We'll do a little Andor trailer, thoughts on the show, getting us excited for that. Maybe talk a little Tale of a Jedi, something like that. And, the boys will be back. So, you know what to do. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, comment, let us know what you think. Let us know what you thought of the show. And for that, may the boys be with you. Grant, anything else?
May the boys be with you.
And may they be with you too. Have a good night, folks.